Hello guys, welcome back to my channel the Physio Sapien, and in today's video we are going to learn about types of muscle contraction. So what is a muscle contraction? It is a change in the length or tone of a muscle due to the excitability of the muscle. Okay, this may result in the movement of joints. Okay, so there are two types of muscle contractions: isometric muscle contraction and isotonic muscle contraction. So starting with the isometric muscle contraction. As the name suggests, isometric. So there is no change in the length of the muscle. So what changes? It's the tone of the muscle. Okay, let's take an example. Okay, so you are asking the patient to do elbow flexion, but you are resisting it to a level that he cannot flex it. But there is no change in the length of the muscle, but there is a change in the tone of the muscle to maintain the joint at that position. So you are resisting it, but it's not moving. But as you can see, there is a change in the tone of the muscle. Okay, this isometric muscle contraction is done by the postural muscles throughout the day to maintain a static posture of the body. Okay, you can also use isometric exercises to train the nervous system of the patient. Okay, in cases where you cannot move the joint, for example in fractures, you cannot change the length of the muscle, that is you cannot move a joint, but you can do isometric exercises to maintain the muscle mass in the body of your patient. So the next one is isotonic muscle contraction. As the name suggests, here the tone of the muscle remains constant. So what changes? It's the muscle length. So when the muscle length changes, there is origin and insertion of a muscle. Every muscle crosses a joint. So while a muscle shortens, it moves the segment of bone of the joint. So there is movement of a joint as well with the muscle contraction. Okay, there are two types of isotonic muscle contraction. These are the concentric muscle contraction and there is a eccentric muscle contraction. Okay, in concentric there is shortening of the muscle length. In eccentric there is lengthening of the muscle length. This is what everyone knows. But again, when does a muscle contract but it again gets lengthened? Why does that happen? So let's take an example. During elbow flexion, very simple example. Let's do elbow flexion. So during elbow flexion, this is your concentric movement. Okay, let's say I have a dumbbell. I don't have a dumbbell. Let's take this. This is a dumbbell. Okay, so I am doing elbow flexion. So my contraction of the muscle, the power generated by my muscle is higher than the load of that is your dumbbell. Okay, so the power generation is more compared to this. So the muscle shortens against the load, which results in the movement of a joint. Okay, now if the load is so heavy that my muscle power cannot move it, but it can slow the movement. So here my muscle is contracting, my muscle is lengthening, but the load is more than the power generated by my muscle. Therefore, the muscle gets lengthened against the load, which is heavier than my muscle contraction. So therefore, it gets lengthened. So this is known as eccentric muscle movement. So concentric and eccentric muscle contraction have their own benefits and their drawbacks. So concentric muscle movement is usually done to increase the muscle size, to increase the power generation. Okay, it is comparatively safer than the eccentric muscle contraction, but eccentric movements can help load the joint or load the muscle more than the concentric muscle contraction, and therefore eccentrics can be used to increase the generation of strength and power in your patients as well as athletes. So if you cannot perform concentric movement, you can first train that person in eccentrics with proper stabilization and then move on to your concentrics. So first thing, you will start with isometric exercises, then go on for your eccentric exercises, then move on to your concentric and then functional exercises. So this is the progression that you can do, and therefore understanding the types of muscle contraction is important for you. So this was all about your types of muscle contraction. Today we have learned about the isometric contraction, the isotonic contraction, your concentric and eccentric muscle contraction, what are the benefits and drawbacks of the same, and how you will progress from isometric to eccentric and then to concentric muscle contractions. Do like, share and comment on this video, and this is Ronak Chandak signing off.